Hey guys, it's Gene. Wanted to kind of talk about the MX Sport just a little bit and show you some other junk. This sign, I don't know if you can see it. One of my buddies knows I was into metal detecting, and he saw this sign at an antique shop for $30 and told me about it. And I said I wanted it, so he went and picked that up for me. Thought that'd be cool in my little man cave with my metal detecting junk. But also wanted to show you one other little random thing I found that I was just checking out one of those like coin rolls you get on eBay, and it has like an Indian head penny on one end and a Wheatie on the other. I think I paid about $7.50 total, and it was full of all older coins. But this one steel cent here is a 43D, and it just happens that it's a double mint mark on the D, and this thing looks perfect, like uncirculated. A whole bunch of cool little pennies came in there, but I normally don't do it, but I gave it a shot just because I thought it was interesting, and it worked out, because this one, if you put it under a magnifying glass, you can see the D is double stamped pretty plainly, so it makes it a pretty valuable penny. But I've been having a lot of good luck with the MX Sport. The firmware update has made a big difference in the recovery speed and everything. It's working really good. The machine is crazy sensitive, and I think that's what people are gonna have to get used to. Is, you know, it's a lot different than some of the older whites machines. It's really sensitive to tiny targets, and I've been digging stuff very deep. I mean, like these micro bullets. I mean, some of these are actually pretty old, like this one. It's not like your average 22. It's kind of hollow at the bottom. It looks like it's got a ring around it. Here's a more modern one. You know, a few more modern like these, but this one place is an old area, and there's kind of a mix. You know, you've got newer stuff, like it's by a 1700s cemetery, and there's an earring on the ground where somebody had visited, and went off in the woods there, and, you know, found bunches of old shotgun shells, lots of old lead, new bullets. There's been a 3-ringer pulled out of there before, and this looks like this is a massive piece of lead. I'm saying that's probably, you know, a large fire bullet there, and some kind of other big musket ball. Just lots of strange things coming out of here. I don't even know exactly what that is, but, you know, getting a lot of clad coins here and there too. Got some wheat pennies. I don't know if we'll be able to see the date, but a couple of 30s. I think one's a 54, but, you know, nothing too crazy. But what's astonishing me is the depth. You know, I'm getting 8-inch coins very regularly, 8 to 9-inch pennies. A lot of these are coppers here. I dug really deep. I mean, I've got clad everywhere. I dug a ton of these zinc lids. I like to, for some reason, I like to save these inserts. I have like a huge stack of these. And if I find whole lids or lids where the inserts are good, I just keep them. But, you know, just a wide range of targets. The depth is really good. Here's a Hawk brand button. I don't know if you can see the Hawk, like a real old overalls button. Pretty cool, fine. Then I got a couple of makeup compacts. This one will actually, this one was closed up, and it actually still works, sorta. Get the camera real close. It's even got a little bit of something left in there, and this opens up. You can pop this open, and pretty good in there. Pretty neat old piece. And this I found probably a foot deep. I found the got this signal, dug the lid, kept getting the signal, and then the other half came out. It's really hard to see, but it says Dorset 5th Avenue, and it has like a little character engraved in here. And I looked that up, and this is like a powder case, and it had like a little thin sponge thing here, and it should have had like a mirror. But Dorset was from around like 1930 to 1951. They were bought out by somebody else, and you had different brands of these coming out. I mean, this thing's totally had it, but I thought that was a really interesting find. And then here's just a bunch more coins and another lid. A couple of weird, you know, this doesn't look like too old of stuff here. Just some junk, don't know what it is. You know, a modern 38 special. I think that's what it says on there. Yeah. Casing. This one, got one bullet, looks like it almost fits in there. Pretty cool. And then there's this horseshoe. This thing is, you know, really old. I think I've got some clips for you to watch, just random stuff, playing around with this MX Sport. I mainly just wanted to talk about it, but this was, you know, buried under a ton of rocks, extreme depth. I mean, really large rocks. This thing's been there forever. And I ended up getting a couple of like forged nails out from under it, you know, handmade square nails. So this is a really old horseshoe. It was a little more bubbled up, and I threw it in some hot coals in a fire and let it get burning hot, and some of the heavy scale came off. But you can just see, man, this has got that old cowboy profile like you used to see on the signs and stuff. Really cool. Just glad to get that. But one thing I've noticed about the MX Sport is it, you know, I was talking about being very sensitive. You can run extremely low sensitivities and still pick up very deep coins. If you crank it, you know, way up to 8 or something like that, you will, some people think it's chattery or something, but what the deal is it's picking up everything. I mean, this thing is picking up, I'm digging these tiny little bullets so deep, it's, you know, and having a heck of a time finding them sometimes with the pinpointer. I mean, digging tiny targets. I dug a pencil, like the little metal off a pencil eraser, at a park at 8 inches deep on the pinpointer's ruler measurement, you know. It's just finding stuff like this, tiny little things, you know, just some little piece of metal tubing 8 inches deep. It's actually kind of mind-blowing, just tiny little hunks of lead. I mean, this thing's sounding off on these. And one thing that I have noticed is that when you get a deeper coin, it really seems to lock on to that a lot better. And if you're running real high sensitivity, you're going to hear a whole lot of noise. And if you're looking for coins and, you know, bigger targets, you'll get a lot better lock on, you know, a lot steadier number and steadier tone. If you're sweeping around and there's lots of trash, you're going to hear every little microscopic piece of stuff if you're running at 8 or 9 sensitivity. I mean, it's going to go crazy deep at that, and you can pick out some stuff still. But if you're probably, you know, newer to it and you're used to like the older, you know, style whites machines, you may want to start off with lower sensitivity. I had it down to 2 and was picking up 6 and 7 inch coins, 2 or 3. I've got some video clips I'll show you. It was picking up the 6 and 7 inch coins no problem, and was running really smooth. My test bed's full of like iron fragments and trash, so if you crank up a very sensitive machine, you'll hear all those little things in the ground. So one thing about that MX Sport, don't be afraid to turn down that sensitivity, because it's like you're really not losing depth hardly at all. It's just so sensitive. Now I haven't done anything like that with it, but I think it's when you say prospecting mode, and it's probably going to work, because the thing is so sensitive. It's like the tiniest, these tiny little bullets. I mean, that's even, I don't know, it looks smaller than a 22. I don't even know what this is. It looks pretty old. Picking these things up, you know, pretty darn deep. And stuff like this, I mean, you know, that, of course you're going to pick that up deep. And picking this up a foot deep, thought was, you know, pretty good, but, you know, still not mind blower due to its size. But I've consistently been digging 8-inch, 9-inch coins a whole lot. I'd say on average a whole lot more. I think a lot of the machines, you know, other machines that I have are, a couple of them are capable of that. But it just seems like, you know, with the audio modulation off, they really just bang out on this MX Sport. And even with audio mod on, like a quarter size target is still banging. And that may actually help with some of these smaller things not sounding off as much. I mean, that's just some stuff I'm still experimenting with and still learning, you know, trying to figure out the best, you know, ways to run it for the type of hunting I do. I mean, I do a whole lot of coin shooting, and, you know, I do some relic hunting if I'm in the right spot, but I do a lot of old schools and really old parks, and I'm looking for, you know, silver coins, older coins, and jewelry. So I do dig quite a bit in the lower end too. But I kind of fooled around a little bit more with, you know, just doing some relic hunting at these old places that I've been visiting, and you know, digging a lot more signals that, you know, like if you were in a schoolyard or something, you would definitely consider trash. But you know, I was digging these things crazy deep, 9 inches deep, just terrorizing it. But I also got, you know, some of the accessories for the MX Sport I wanted to show you. I got the waterproof headphones. Haven't got to test them out in the water, but I can tell you that the feel and quality seem to be really nice on these. You know, this, you're going to use your volume control that's built in the machine. There's no inline volume control, and I like that because it seems like the little inline volume control that comes on the light headphones that you know, that come with the machine, it's easy to mess around and turn them down. So I do kind of like that. I'll probably do a little bit more of these on just some, you know, just for regular hunting, and see how it goes. But I'm about ready to hit a swimming hole pretty soon, so I'm going to test it out. And I've got the coils for the machine. I've used this one quite a bit already. You know, got at least a few hours on it, and the separation is really good, and the coverage on the 6x10, very good. And it seemed like I was still digging some stuff pretty deep, even though, you know, I'd say this isn't as deep as the stock coil, you know, but I was still getting especially low conductors. I don't know what it is. I guess the frequency of the MX Sport, you know, like those beaver tail pull tabs and stuff. I was going for a lot of those, you know, and nickel signals and stuff, trying to get some gold. So I was digging a lot of deep beaver tail pull tabs and stuff. And now this concentric coil, I haven't ran it much. In my soil, you get, you know, tons of bars on the mineral readout when you're ground balancing. So it's not as deep for me as the stock coil, but this coil is very light. I did like that. This would be a great coil even if you had high, you know, ground minerals. I was still picking up the 7-inch coins fine with this coil in my really high mineralized dirt, and it really seems to lighten up the machine a little bit more. And, you know, the pinpointing of, you know, these concentrics is great. So this would probably be a great, you know, park hunter when you're just going to go do some coin shooting. And of course, you know, I'm going to, you know, take this to the beach and test it out there, and maybe the swimming hole as well. I'm not sure about the, you know, the buoyancy aspect of it. It feels a little more hollowish, you know, like this one kind of does too. You know, it's got that, instead of the epoxy filled feeling like the stock coil. So we'll see how it does, but that'll definitely help out when you're doing a ton of swinging, because it does just take a little bit of weight off the nose and it feels really comfortable. Definitely lightens up the machine. Well, I'm going to show you guys a few clips. You can check them out. Just some random stuff with the MX Sport, and just kind of letting you know how I'm coming along. I'm really starting to like the machine. I'm definitely learning more and more and more every time I use it. And that's one of my key tips, is don't be afraid to turn it way down. You know, you can run it on 4 and you're going to be picking up 8-inch coins with no trouble at all. At least I am, and my ground has quite a bit of mineralization, so I'm picking up 8-inch coins easy, even on a sensitivity of 4 and 5. If you run it up at 8, you're going to hear every little BB in the ground. It's literally what, you know, the sensation I get. So it's not really a chattering machine. It's just a machine that's very sensitive to targets, and that, you know, does help you out on those, you know, really deep coins. All right, here's some clips. Appreciate you guys watching the video. Thanks. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you an update on the MX Sport. Let me turn this thing on. I've come to find out that the MX Sport is really a hot machine. Very, very sensitive. And if you're just coin shooting, you can run your sensitivities extremely low and still get really deep coins. If you crank this thing up, it will pick up the tiniest little things. I dug a pencil eraser 8 inches deep. I mean, it was just banging. And I've been digging deep coins quite a bit. You saw one of my other videos, I was getting 8-9 inch coins. So it's really easy to get deep coins, and you don't have to run it all that hot. Let's check it out here, and I'll show you. Sensitivity 2. Got the tracking locked in and ground balanced. There's like a 12-inch quarter right here. So on 2, it's trying to pick that up. Let's go up to 3. We'll go up to 5. Still hitting on it one way, and we'll go up to 7. So really the sensitivity increasing once you hit the max depth. You've hit the max depth. So here's 4 sensitivity. Let's go back down to 2. Here's 6-inch coins. Here's the 6-inch nickel on 2. So it's hitting that no problem. 6-inch dime. No problem. And the 6-inch quarter. This quarter never IDs good because it's next to some iron trash. Let's go up to the 7-inch nickel. Still picking that up. ID's not quite as good. 7-inch dime. No problem. And a 7-inch quarter. So you see that sensitivity 2. I just went up to 3. So you can run this thing. People talk about being noisy. It's because this really is a very sensitive detector. If you turn the sensitivity up, it really is picking up stuff that you're probably not hearing with other machines. So right here on 3, I'm banging on a coin There's iron. The machine's running great. And this is just actual trash it's picking up. But you hit that 7-inch quarter, it's loud and clear, even at the extremely low sensitivity. Try the 8-inch quarter. So it's still picking that up at 3. So I mean, if you're just field hunting, you can run this thing nice and smooth on 5. There's 8-inch dime. And then the 8-inch nickel. There's a 6-inch coin. Let's go over here to the really deep stuff. That's that 12-inch quarter. I mean, that's crazy deep. So, you know, depending on how clean the ground is, you can adjust your sensitivity accordingly. So I'm not really worried about turning this down. It's maybe a little bit different than some of the older whites machines. It's just really sensitive. If you crank the sensitivity like, you know, up to 8 or something. Right now I've got my air conditioner running. It's causing a little bit of interference. You're still getting those same coins, but you're going to pick up a lot more of the metal in the ground. I mean, extremely small pieces of metal. So it's not that it's really being that chattery. Sometimes it's that there's actually stuff in the ground. My yard's full of, you know, trash from this place being built, little fragments of aluminum and stuff like that. So you can save yourself a lot of headache by running, you know, down on 4, 3. If you're tot lot hunting, park hunting, the 7-inch coins are loud and clear, no problem. And the 8-inch coins, doing pretty good on those. It's 8-inch dime. So 6 sensitivity is very deep. And that's this 7-inch coins. It just bangs on them. So, you know, don't be afraid to lower your sensitivity. You're still going to find deep stuff. If you get out in a real trashy area and you feel like you're missing some deep silver in between there, I've been running at 8 and just taking it a little bit slower, trying to pick in between that stuff. Even though the recovery speed is very fast, but just every little fragment this thing's going to pick up. I mean, when this thing says prospecting mode, I believe it'll definitely work. I need to get some tiny gold and try it out, because it is crazy, crazy sensitive. Let me give you an example. Here's just a little super thin staple I pulled out of the end of this board that they tag them with. Let me turn my reject volume up so you can hear it. So high sensitivities, I mean, I'm a good 7 inches above this thing. Well, maybe 6 inches. So That was on 8 sensitivity. If you turn it down to 5, still picks it up, but it's more like 4, 5 inches. So just very sensitive machine. I might grab a gold chain and try that out. It's broken 10K bracelet. For some reason, these chains and stuff are really hard to detect. You know, a lot of machines, you can just about rub the coil with these and they won't sound off. And this is just in the coin and jewelry mode, stock discrimination pattern.